All right.
Woo!
We are live and we are back on Saturday night. Welcome, Jay.
Hi, Brian. How are you?
I'm doing good.
Good
It's
stuff.
good to be back. Obviously, we only just took one Saturday off. We took a Wednesday and a Saturday
That's too
off
much.
just for some R&R. And so it's good to be back here with Snake Talk, obviously, as it works. As you guys know, I will answer your super chats. So if you have questions, hit me up with super chats. I know we already have a couple of them, but we won't get to them quite yet. And then, obviously, I'll talk to you about some things. There's obviously some topics that are out there that I'm going to cover a little bit today. No more important than really, for those you guys don't know, Kevin from Nerd put out a video, very controversial. I'm going to talk about it. And listen, I'm great friends with Kevin, great friends, obviously, with Jay Brewer. And as a matter of fact, I hope I'm not, confidentially ruining anything between things. But we had a very long text chain between Kevin, myself, and Jay about the whole situation and stuff like that. And there was we're all friends.
Cordial, yeah.
And I don't think anyone was, I think Jay, kind of got the raw end of the deal on it, to be honest with you, because, it was, I always talk about clickbait, right? Like clickbait is one of two things where you're either completely lying about something or you're stretching the truth, but you're still I made the example of I remember I had a video where I got bit in the face by a snake, and the title was "Bit in the Face by a Snake," and then someone was like, "I'm done watching your channel because all this clickbait," and I'm like, "But I got bit in the face."
Yeah, it's no clickbait, bro.
Like I didn't clickbait you, I got bit. So I would like to think we really never lie on our clickbait, right?
Oh, we definitely don't.
We make it sensational because that's how YouTube works, and I'll talk a little bit about that down the road. You guys may get bored with it, but let me cover it. All right, so you guys understand some things about YouTube. There's something that's called click-through rate, and that basically means if YouTube serves up your thumbnail and your title to someone, how many people click through and actually watch the video. If you get less than 10% click-through rate, your video's not going anywhere. Your video's going to die, That's just the reality. Guys like Mr. Beast probably are getting 50 or 60% click-through, and that's why he's getting 30, 40 million views on a video. I would say the average YouTube, they say you want to get 10% is what you want, right? But if you're a pretty vanilla thumbnail, if the thumbnail's not very, catching and sensational, and your title isn't sensational, you're probably going to be down at 2 or 3% click-through rate, and that's not going to equate to any views, period. So the idea is to have a sensationalist title, a sensationalist thumbnail, but not lie to anybody. Kevin just kind of, went to the lie part a little bit, and I don't think he was malicious about it. I really don't think that he meant in any way to hurt Jay or anybody else. But by saying, Jay Brewer exposed, that was a lie. It was, and right in the video, it said, it was immediately like, hey, I'm not going to bash Jay or Brian. That was just to get you to click on it or something like that.
Yeah.
That's the clickbait that is a little dangerous, right? Because what happens is that most people, not most people, but a lot of people that would see that video just immediately believes it's bad about Jay, period. They're not even watching the video. They're just seeing the thumbnail and they're saying, okay, Jay's a bad guy. He's exposed. Kevin exposed him and stuff like that. Actually, the gist of what Kevin was trying to do, I think, was not a bad thing. You know what I mean? Like he was trying to expose what he personally and very passionately felt was really an atrocity.
The problem
to the hobby, and I understood that 100%. And this is what I've said, and I told Kevin this and everything. As I said, I think the idea was there, that the execution wasn't very good, and we've all made those mistakes. So I'm not mad at Kevin. My name kind of got jaunted around a little bit about that, and some people did think that he was exposing Jay as a bad guy and ultimately me as somehow doing something wrong. In actuality, if anyone watched the actual video, they would see that he was defending us. And that gets more to my point about when I said I was going to rant a little bit, is that, we as a community need to do a better job of not vilifying the people that are making a difference. And I'm going to use Jay at Prehistoric, Jay Brewer, as the example, okay? Jay gets vilified a lot because, yes, some of his most popular videos, it's a big snake striking at him, whether he's taking him off of eggs or whatever the case may be. And those videos get wild numbers.
Yeah, like outrageous.
Like some of those videos have gotten 100 million views. They've been on CNN. They've been on Right This Minute. They've been whatever. But if you just look at that, maybe you could say, oh, that's just terrible but the truth is that he's getting millions and millions and millions of eyeballs on his content, which means that, yes, some people are going to be like, oh my God, that was scary. But there's going to be a bunch of people that are like, wait a second, let me watch more of this guy's stuff. And then they're going to watch more of his stuff, and it's going to be really good and educational. And they're going to see that he's passionate about animals and that he's got a reptile zoo and he's going to have all this stuff. And then they're going to fall in love with animals. So I think personally, it's not right for and I fall in that category too, right along with Jay. You know, people might go, oh, Brian got bit, or Brian said, you know, he's feeding a giant snake, or he's this.
Fell.
Fell because the snake, you know, tripped him, whatever the case may be, and say, oh, Brian's a terrible guy. When in actuality, you know, myself and Jay, you know, are really bringing unbelievable amount of people into the reptile hobby in a positive way. And so, you know, it's kind of that whole thing, like, don't throw the baby out with the water, right?
I have never heard that one.
Don't throw the baby out with the bath water.
That makes sense.
It says, don't throw the baby out with the bath water.
And, you think somebody's done that before? You got to imagine it came from somewhere.
The saying came from somewhere, so someone had to accidentally throw the baby out.
What I tell you, Margaret, stop throwing the baby out with bath water.
Yeah, it's I don't know where the origins are. That shows how old I am. It's like I've got that saying. But anyways, point is that I think that not just, and I think, you know, Jay and myself probably take the brunt of the negativity, but it happens. You know, listen, what I'm saying is that we're not the enemy, right? Jay's not the enemy. I'm not the enemy. In as a reptile community, we've got to stop making people the enemy. You know, I don't personally care when I get bashed anymore, because I just have moved on with it. I don't, you know, whatever. But I don't think it's good for the reptile hobby, right? You know, right. You know, that you know, when somebody maybe is got a voice in the reptile hobby and they have a something negative to say about myself, Jay, or you name the person that is trying to do good things. Now, if you're doing something horrible, then obviously you shouldn't be talked nicely about.
Right.
But you know, I mean, Jay knows, myself and Jay, every day we are as thoughtful as we possibly can,
of course, man,
about our content. You know, we don't just do things and then throw it at the wall. We think really hard about it. That doesn't mean that we don't occasionally make a mistake and go, wow, that seemed like a good idea. Maybe it didn't come off the way we wanted it to. But we're certainly not the enemy, and Jay isn't the enemy. And I think as a hobby, we need to do a little bit better job realizing that bringing people into the hobby is more important than attacking people,
right,
and making them the enemy. And it's just not good. You know, I mean, I've said this a million times. Like, we're about to launch Reptile Army on Monday, which, by the way,
awesome.
Which is going to be super exciting. And 10% of the proceeds we make from Reptile Army is going to be donated to USARK. Not to mention the other money that I've donated to USARK, and not to mention the people that joined USARK, because not only did people join USARK because I've been pushing USARK, but also I matched a bunch of people's bronze memberships. I matched a bunch of people, you know. So the point is that, you know, like, we're bringing not only people into the hobby, but we're also putting our money where our mouth is and trying to protect your rights.
Yeah.
And so to make me the enemy, or make Jay the enemy, or make you put the name on it, the enemy. Now the whole other thing, you know, it's a tough thing. You know, what Kevin's real point was is the guys that were, you know, killing Burmese pythons and iguanas in the Everglades. That's a really tough thing, and obviously I understand why Kevin could be upset about that. You know,
yeah.
Especially if it's done in an abusive way. You know, I mean, it's one of the trickiest things to me as a person. I was down there before COVID, and I went out to the Everglades, and one of the things I went out with Jacob Fader to the Everglades, and one of the things I talked about when I went there is I said, if we see a Burmese, nobody touches it, because if you touch it, by law, you have to kill it.
Yes, sir.
Right? And if you don't kill it, you're actually breaking the law. And if you touch it. So I said, and we didn't find any Burmese that night, but I said, if we come across a berm, we look at it, we can even film it, but nobody touches it, because I can't kill that snake. That being said, obviously, they're very invasive in the Everglades.
It's an ecological
It's an ecological nightmare. The iguanas are an ecological nightmare. But as an animal lover, I don't know. It's a really conflicting thing for me, right?
Right.
I don't want to see people kill these animals. but at the same time, I don't want to see the ecology of South Florida being destroyed. Now, where it gets really, really touchy is if you're killing the animals for views.
Yeah. That
then becomes a very difficult topic. You know what I mean? Because I don't think anyone should profit from an animal suffering, right? And but again, I'm throwing all these things out as they come out of my head. You know, there are obviously like Deer Meat for Dinner is a very popular YouTube channel, and his whole channel is about killing, you know, alligators and deer, and, you know, Deer Meat for Dinner. It's the name of his thing.
Right.
And he is an ethical hunter, and he ethically hunts animals, kills them, skins them, prepares them, and cooks them for money, you know, on YouTube. And he makes a lot of money. So it's a tough thing. You know, I'm not against hunting. I don't hunt. Right.
Same.
But I'm not against it. I think it's fine if you're ethical about it. Do I like canned hunting? No, fuck you. You know, so my point is that it's a very, very, very hot topic. You know, I mean, very hot topic.
Spicy.
And I don't know 100% where I land on any of it, you know, because it's more complicated than just, oh my God, those guys are killing Burmese pythons and they should be demonized. Now, if they're breaking the law, if they're doing abusive things, if they're planting animals in places that aren't real, that's a whole different topic. And I think that's what Kevin was trying to get at.
Yes.
I think, unfortunately, that message got lost a little bit, at least a little bit, in
the intro of that video.
Yeah, the intro of the video, which is so. That's it. I just wanted to say it. I'm not mad at Kevin. I'm not mad at anybody. I think the world of Kevin. I think the world of Jay. You know, I think the world of. I not only do I love the reptile community, but I love the vast majority of the reptile YouTubers as well. And as a matter of fact, Ken and Harkin called me just before we went on the podcast just to check on me. You know, just saying, hey,
which I love,
you know,
that,
I think
man.
you know, I just want to make sure you're okay.
That's
you know,
so
after
cool.
the Kevin thing, and he agreed with Kevin on his points because he doesn't like what's going on in South Florida. And it was great to see Kenan, you know, call me out of the blue and check on me. So thank you so much, Kenan. We're hoping we're going to get him up on the podcast here real soon. We talked about that. That'll be really fun.
Be so cool, man.
Rail this,
Damn, son.
Can we rail this in?